It was a Halloween night unlike any other, with a crescent moon hung low in the sky like a grimacing grin. Susan and Alex had outdone themselves this year. Their sprawling Victorian mansion was transformed into a maze of haunted rooms, each one more unnerving than the last. Animated zombies groaned from the bushes, holographic ghosts floated down hallways, and the main ballroom was decked out to resemble a Victorian seance. The invite was clear, costumes mandatory, and masks would be provided for anyone who dared to enter room 13. Guests arrived in droves, lavishly costumed and eager for an evening of spooks and spirits. But all attention was soon diverted to room 13, a room rarely opened, and known to be the former bedroom of Eleanor, a pianist and the original mistress of the house who died under mysterious circumstances. The doorway was covered with red velvet curtains, and a sign warned, "Enter at your own risk." As the clock neared midnight, Susan, dressed as Morticia Adams, announced that room 13 would be opened for 1 hour only. Those who entered would experience the haunting melodies of Eleanor's spirit, who was said to still play her grand piano in the depths of the night. Intrigued and slightly inebriated, guests donned the ornate masks provided, each resembling a different historical figure, and ventured in. The room was bathed in an ethereal blue light, illuminating the grand piano at its center. Soon, an uncanny melody filled the room, emanating from the piano itself, yet no one was sitting at its bench. The experience was unsettling yet enthralling, and guests felt an inexplicable emotional pull to the haunting notes that were being played. Half an hour passed, and a subtle change began to manifest. Those inside room 13 started to exhibit traits of the historical figures their masks represented. Henry, who wore a Napoleon mask, began barking military commands. Clara, donning a Marie Antoinette mask, became haughty and dismissive. Susan and Alex watched in disbelief, attributing the odd behavior to the alcohol and the power of suggestion. But then, the melody from the piano shifted, becoming darker, more urgent. People in the room grew uneasy, the atmosphere became thick with tension. The lights flickered, and just then, the piano lid slammed shut. The room plunged into darkness. When the lights came back on, a new figure was sitting at the piano, a spectral vision of Eleanor, dressed in a gown from the late 1800s. She lifted her veiled face and spoke directly to Susan and Alex. "Thank you for setting me free," she said, her voice echoing through the room like a chilling breeze. "But freedom comes at a price. You may have noticed your guests are not themselves. Their souls are trapped in the masks, and I will need them to leave this place." Susan felt a chill run down her spine. "What are you saying? How can we reverse this?" Eleanor's eyes glinted menacingly. "The souls will be freed at dawn, but the masks must never be worn again. Store them somewhere safe, and whatever you do, never open this room after midnight." As she struck the final note, Eleanor vanished, and the guests snapped out of their altered states, confused and unsettled, but seemingly unharmed. The party quickly dispersed, each guest eager to put the night's eerie events behind them. Sticking to Eleanor's instructions, Susan and Alex locked the masks away in a trunk, storing it in the attic. For years, they refrained from hosting any Halloween parties, and room 13 remained sealed. Until one day, a curious nephew found the trunk, and a new set of masks were made for an upcoming masquerade ball. Masks that looked oddly familiar, yet were seemingly new, carrying the essence of the souls that had once been trapped within them. And so, as another Halloween approached, Susan found a new invitation on her ornate fireplace mantel, an invite to a masquerade ball at her very own home, hosted by Eleanor. This time, Susan and Alex were the guests, and they couldn't help but wonder who, or what, would be taking their place as hosts.